Aloha class, I wanted to do a video on exercise 2-12, so applying overhead and cost of goods manufactured. So this is the following data that relates to the company, and the company uses a predetermined overhead rate to apply overhead at cost to jobs. The rate for the year is $25 per machine hour. A total of 19,400 machine hours was recorded for the year. Compute the amount of underapplied or overapplied costs for the year and prepare a cost of good manufactured for the year. So let's do the underapplied and overapplied. So they have actual manufacturing overhead was $473,000, and then this is their predetermined overhead rate and their actual hours. So let's see how that will work out. So if I went to a manufacturing overhead that said $473,000, and then and remember the actual would be on the debit side, right? We actually are incurring these costs, and then the applied would be your predetermined overhead rate of $25 times it by 19,400, right? And so if I took the difference between those two, I can see that the credit is going to be larger. So whenever we have a credit balance, we've applied too much or over applied. Right? We expected more than what we actually had, and we've over applied over here. Yep, and so that's computing the over applied costs for the year. Now we need to prepare a cost of good manufactured for the year, and so I will provide a handout for you in class and online. This is the handout, right? So it talks about raw materials, work in process, finished goods, and then our income statement. Right? And usually these look pretty complex, but if you can reason through these formulas, it'll be helpful for you, right? So raw materials, first we buy raw materials, or maybe we have zero raw materials, right? We've never bought anything. We don't have any materials. So we go out and purchase these raw materials, and now these are everything that we have available to use in production, right? So simple example, I have $0 worth of raw materials. I buy $10 worth of raw materials, and so I have $10 available, right? So, and if I forgot to keep track of how much I put into work in process, I could go count how many are left over in the ending raw materials, right? And so say I had $3 worth of raw materials left, right? I could probably assume that $7 must have been put to work in the work in process, either or in the overhead, right? Depending if it was a direct material or an indirect material, right? So the easily traceable direct materials are the indirect materials, right? And so this formula kind of just helps you, right? First we have nothing, we buy, or first we have a balance, we buy more. This is everything possible that we could use, right? We'll transfer some out, and then the leftover, if we minus the leftover, we would know how much we transferred out into work in process, right? And so in work in process, in your work in process T account, you would have direct materials, direct labor, and overhead. Sometimes we have a beginning balance, right, of work in process. We have products that are still being made, and they haven't quite been finished yet from a prior period or from a prior time. And so we still have things that haven't been finished, right? And then if we minus what is left over, then we would assume that the rest would have been transferred out or been finished. So let's just give a quick example of this work in process inventory. Those very, very simplified numbers are helpful when you're first learning this, and then when you get into larger numbers, it'll be easier to grasp the concept. So this is our work in process, right? We have a beginning balance, right? $5 we didn't finish from a previous period, and then we'll add our total manufacturing costs, right? In order to make a product, we need the materials, we need the labor, and then we need manufacturing overhead, the factory costs, right? And then after everything's said and done, the ending balance is $10, right? So if I were to total all of this up, right, I could get the balance, everything available, right? And so over here, if I total this up, this would be $35. Yep, that's $35, right? And then something happens in between, you know, this point and this point, and goods are finished. We've completed them, they're ready to go out. So I have $35 at a specific point, the goods are finished, a certain amount's finished, and then we have a leftover of $10. So how do I get from $35 to $10? $25 must have been transferred out, right? $25 is transferred out, and I have $10 left in ending balance of work in process, right? If I'm going to credit my work in process, that means they're finished goods, and so I should be debiting my finished goods and crediting my work in process. Right? We've moved them over, they've been finished. And so that's what you'll see in this formula, right? All of your manufacturing costs at the beginning minus the end, and this must have been what we've transferred out or finished, cost of good manufactured. Okay. And then you can see cost of good, everything we have available, and then count the leftover inventory, then we must have sold a specific amount. So the problem asks for the this schedule, the cost of good manufactured schedule, right? Maybe I will do that in the next video though.